Hello, hello, hello. We are going to get this podcast recording going. I'm testing out doing this live on YouTube. Usually I pre record and load it up, but why not do it live since we are um, doing it anyways? So I'm going to hit record and we are going to get started. Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Ashley Beeman Show. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about something that I think is super important when it comes to our health, our fitness, our nutrition, and also sustainable weight loss. And that's your relationship with the scale. Your relationship with the scale is not supposed to be perfect. I truly think that we have created so much unnecessary drama around the scale that most people don't even know what a healthy relationship looks like anymore. And the scale has become something that will either make or break our day. If it's down, we're happy. If it's up, we're miserable. But the truth is that the number was never supposed to hold that much power. I also want for a second for you to think about your relationship to another human being, whether that be your spouse, whether that be your sibling, your best friend, your child. Those relationships never arrive, right? They're always evolving, they're always growing. Sometimes they're really good, sometimes they're not so good, sometimes they're just kind of coasting. And I know that it may seem strange to compare your relationship to a human being to this scale, but we have a relationship with everything. And if we can start to see that we have a relationship with something, we can start to work on having more of a healthy relationship to it, because we're not always going to have highs, we're not always going to have lows, and we're not always going to be coasting. A healthy relationship is going to go through the ebbs and flows of the emotions, and that's just exactly what happens with the scale. So today I want to talk about what a healthy relationship with the scale looks like and why it's not supposed to be perfect, and how to stop letting it dictate your mood, your motivation, or even your discipline. Because oftentimes when we have high or low emotions around what the scale says, we don't show up and do the things that we need to do. When in reality, yes, we are allowed to be excited about the scale going down. We're also allowed to not feel so good about the number that we see on the scale. But what we really need to focus on is continuing to show up no matter what we feel about that number, and work towards getting to a more neutral space with that number more of the time. So let's start with this. First and foremost, if you've heard me talk about the scale before, you've heard me say this, but the scale is not a liar. It's not out to get you. It's not betraying you. Muscle does not weigh more than fat. I don't know how many times that I need to say that, but muscle does not weigh more than fat. A pound is a pound is a pound. The scale is giving you data. It's simply reflecting the water in your body, your hormones, your sodium, your digestion, the glycogen in your muscles, the inflammation, and yes, sometimes fat loss or fat gain. We call it a weight loss journey, but in reality, it's just data interpretation on the journey, right? So if your weight goes up after a salty dinner or a tough leg day, that's not the scale lying. It's that your body is doing its job. The problem isn't the number. The problem is the story that we tell ourselves when we see that number. So for years, we have been taught that the scale defines our progress, it defines our worth, our success. And we've celebrated the lows and we've panicked at the highs. We've made that number mean something about us, that we're failing, that our effort doesn't matter, that our body isn't cooperating. I want you to go back to the example that I was giving before when I said, think about your relationship with your child or your spouse or your sister or your friend or whoever it may be, right? There are going to be times when there's going to be highs and there's going to be lows. And we try not to make it mean anything about us, right? And we work on understanding things better when it comes to communication and how we show up for that person. And if it's a healthy relationship, right? Like this would be the perfect example. But we continue to show up. But here's the thing, your body is always responding. We have made that number mean something about us, that we're failing, that our effort doesn't matter, that our body isn't cooperating. But it's simply that your body is just responding to different things coming at it. The question is, are you paying attention to the full picture, or you just simply obsessing over one tiny piece of data? You have your calories dialed in, your workouts are consistent, your habits are stacked, and the scale might fluctuate. That doesn't mean that you're not seeing progress. It simply means that you are a human being living in a human body. So your relationship never arrives. It just simply evolves. The goal is to never not care about the scale. It's just simply to understand it. It's to see it for what it is without letting it control you. There will always be days when you are excited to see a new low, days when you are frustrated by a high number, and days when you genuinely just don't feel anything at all about it. That's normal, because just like any relationship, this one evolves as well. We expect to reach a certain number, feel happy, and stay there forever, but that's so unattainable. The goal that keeps us stuck in frustration is thinking that we're going to arrive somewhere and just stay there forever. Fluctuations are a normal part of life. Maintenance isn't one number, it's literally a range of numbers. And if you follow me inside of my prep diaries, you can see that right now. I am sharing my weight every single morning inside of prep diaries. I'm currently coming out of my reverse diet. I'm landing in maintenance, and it fluctuates. One day, like yesterday, it was 136 pounds. This morning, it was 134.8 pounds. And it just goes in this fluctuation, like about 5 pounds. I would say if you go up and down between 5 pounds, you're sitting at maintenance. And you know, the body is meant to fluctuate. Your relationship with the scale will also fluctuate. So even when you've worked hard on your mindset, you still have moments where you might feel disappointed, or you might even feel super excited when you step on that scale and proud. Either way is okay. You're allowed to have those feelings. You're also, I just want to say this, that you're also allowed to want to change that number on the scale. Again, I think we've created way too much drama around the number on the scale, and we need to kind of just understand how to work with it. So the difference between an unhealthy relationship and a healthy one isn't the absence of emotion, it's the way that we respond after. If you are excited about the number on the scale, I want you to get back up and I want you to check the boxes like you normally would. If you are upset about the number on the scale, I want you to get back up and I want you to check the boxes on a daily basis, just like you normally would. If you feel nothing about the number on the scale, I want you to get back up. I want you to check the boxes on a daily basis, just like you normally would. Consistency is going to win every single time. And when you start to like set boundaries around your feelings, because your feelings should never dictate your action, and your feelings are rarely facts, you're going to start seeing those results that you desire, and those results are probably going to be more maintainable, and you're going to stop giving so much power away to the scale. Consistency does not come from emotion, it comes from your identity. And when you build the identity of someone who shows up for themselves no matter what the scale says, that when you finally take your power back. So how do you create peace with the scale? Let's talk about this. And this is exactly what I teach my clients inside of all of my programs, especially inside of my new program called Fueled and Focused. We start on November 3rd. This is a 6-week holiday challenge. And I am in there working with you to create a personalized plan, but I'm also helping you with your mindset around these things, because we have a relationship to everything. We have a relationship to the scale. We have a relationship to food. We have a relationship to our body. We have a relationship to our habits. So here is what I'm going to be teaching my clients inside of Fueled and Focus. Number one is we treat the scale like data, not a diary. You can't get emotional over every number when it's just one piece of the data point in a bigger story. So we're going to come up with ways so that we can look at the bigger picture even before we step on that scale. Number two is we look at weekly and monthly trends, not just daily swings. So like I explained before, this like maintenance is a fluctuation. It's not like you just get to 130 pounds and stay at 130 pounds forever, because progress isn't linear. It's more like a heart rate monitor. Number three is we focus on identity-based habits. This is the missing link for most people when it comes to their health and fitness journey. You cannot control the number, but you can control whether you hit your protein, whether you move your body, whether you track your macros, whether you get your water in, whether you get your sleep in. Well, maybe sometimes you can't control whether you get your sleep in or not. But number 4 is we're going to challenge the thoughts that come up. So we don't avoid the scale because you cannot heal what you avoid. When the scale spikes, instead of spiraling, we're going to ask, like, what are you making this mean about you? Are you putting, like, when you're excited about the scale, even asking yourself, like, are you putting all of your worth into this? Yes, you can be excited. Yes, you can feel bad about that number, but we can't make that mean anything about us, and we can't attach our worth to it, or we simply stop showing up and we're not actually creating this identity shift. The transformation happens from the inside out. And so we have to do that inside work in order to sustain the outside transformation. And the question, and literally the question alone, like, what am I making this mean about me, is going to change everything. So here's the thing. The scale isn't a liar. It's just a mirror reflecting back the season that your body is in. A healthy relationship with the scale isn't perfect. It's understanding, compassionate, and grounded in action. So the next time that you step on the scale, I want you to remember this. It's not about the number. It's not how you, it's about how you respond to that number. You don't need to chase neutrality, but you do need to build consistency. And while I will say you probably want to try to get to a more neutral spot more of the time, and honestly, that neutral space with the scale is probably going to feel a little bit weird when you do get there. It's going to feel uncomfortable because once you start kind of detaching from it, when you've had so many high and low emotions around the scale, it will feel different. But it will also allow you to focus on creating that healthy identity that you want to create. It will also help you focus on creating sustainable results that you want. It will let you move your focus somewhere else where we're not putting so much emotion and drama into what that number says. So the next time, like I said, that you step on the scale, I want you to remember that it's not about that number. It's about how you respond. You don't need to respond or react every time you have a certain emotion. And that's exactly, like I said, what we're going to focus on inside of Fueled and Focus. It's learning how to build habits, discipline, and self-trust, no matter what that number says, no matter what's going on in your life, right? Right now is one of the most underrated times for you to start on your health and fitness journey because it creates a pattern interrupt. It allows you to build up momentum going into the new year. And it also allows you to build self-trust within yourself so that when you go into these different situations that are going to be coming up, like the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all of the parties, all of the things, you trust yourself enough to make the decisions that you need to make with the food. Like, that is a major focus there. And dealing with what comes after those situations with the scale is what we're going to talk about. So if you're ready to stop letting the scale control your mood and start creating peace with your body, I'm going to invite you to join us. The link is in the show notes below because the scale doesn't define you, your actions do. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will talk to you in the next one.